What's up, everybody? Welcome to Changing of the Hip Hop Guards podcast. I'm the journalist Sincere. That's my partner, Uncle E. And
What up? What
tonight
up?
we have a very, very special guest in the house tonight. We have T Money. Thank you so much for joining us.
No doubt, bro. This is a pleasure, man. Thank you so much for having me.
No
Thank you.
doubt, no doubt. It's definitely an honor. You got a lot of things going on in 2022, but before we get to that, we want to take it all the way back and give you your flowers and acknowledge some history that you have. If you could take us back to where you were born and raised, for those who may not know.
I was born in a suburb of New York City, Westbury, Long Island. Myself and Dr. Dre are from the same town. We went to Westbury High School. Peace out to the Green Dragons. Respect.
Okay.
You know, they're all over the country, the Green Dragons, all over the country, bro. Yeah, Long Island, man. Long Island's my home.
Mine too. I'm from Long Beach.
Doubt. Oh, Long Beach in the building. I see you.
Yeah. Long Beach.
That's right.
Oh, so I that's interesting though. I wasn't aware, that you said Dre, right?
Yeah, me and Dre from Westbury.
Man, I didn't realize that, man. So I could add that to my list of icons from Long Island.
Yeah, no question.
Take us back to early days, teenage years, some of your interests and hobbies growing up.
Well, I didn't have too many hobbies, man. I did what I did. I didn't have hobbies, but I played sports, man, as a young kid, man. I was pretty good at a couple. I played football, I ran track, played baseball. My father always wanted me to be, he wanted me to be Willie Stargell. He wanted me to be, a big dude hitting the baseball, you know what I mean? But I wasn't feeling that. So I took football up as my number one sport, and I did pretty good, man, here in Nassau County. And, I was pretty, you know how they say when you get older, the older you get, the better you were.
Right.
But in this case, I was pretty good though. I think football is in my family. My cousin at the time was playing for the University of Michigan. I got another cousin now that plays for the Houston Texans. He used to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's part of my family. And I got other cousins who played small college ball like me. So we all played football. We were a sports family. So
yeah. We had Scotty Graham coming out of Long Beach.
Oh, no question.
You remember Scotty Graham?
Yeah. I follow all the Long Island high school players. I follow them.
Dope.
During this time, what are some of your musical influences? Who are you listening to, and is DJing in the plans at this time?
Well, in high school, definitely. Me and DJ, listen to me. My daughter's name is DJ. Hey, DJ, what's up, baby?
Shout out, DJ.
Yeah, no question. No, my influences as it relates to music were vast, man, because I grew up in a household where my parents listened to almost everything. They listened to Miles Davis, they listened to Shaka Khan, they listened to Marvin Gaye, they listened to, when I was growing up, Jackson 5 was happening. My cousin who moved into my parents' home with me, right? So she brought all the Jackson 5 music, you know what I mean? So I got amped, you know what I mean? I'm young and I'm listening to Michael Jackson. That's all I played, So we had like a wide dichotomy of musical interests, my family did. So, I grew up with all types of musical influences. But when I first heard the Fatback Band and King Tim III on record, I was like, wow, this rap thing can really do something that can really take off. So, because we were doing it in the hood, DJing, and everybody was rapping over beats, and we got a lot of that from our trips to the Bronx, because I had cousins that lived in the Bronx, right on Hoe Avenue, up in the Bronx, and I used to go back and forth, and they used to play hip hop joints off these mixtapes, where we would hear Cold Crush, and we would hear the Fantastic, and we would hear all these cats, like kicking the Willy Bobo on some freestyle, you know what I mean? So I was like, oh, this is what's up, you know what I'm saying? So, I would bring a lot of that back to Long Island, where here, it was just starting to bubble, So I got excited as it relates to the music, because I figured now, after hearing it on record, I couldn't believe they put it on record, that it was going to go someplace. So it was a life-changing event for me when I heard it on record.
Right. Would you say that DJing was your first foray into hip hop? A lot of DJs or MCs would say breaking, graffiti. For you personally, how did you get into hip hop?
Well, I got into hip hop as a DJ. With my parents, you ever see that old? I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with the old stereo. Remember the old stereo stuff?
Cabinet.
Like stereo, yeah, the cabinet. They look like furniture, right?
Yeah. We have one. We have one.
Oh, you know that. So we had one in my basement, my parents' basement, right? So I was like, oh, so I started scratching on that, and I played with the volume. I was like, oh, this might work. I can actually put together. So I got a little turntable and I put it on top. This was how primitive I was. And I hooked it up. I guess when I'm harking back on what I did, I thought I was pretty genius because I was actually able to play one record on the dinosaur, right, and I could play another record on the other turntable. So it was a form of mixing. I just turned the volume down on one, turn the volume up on the other. You know what I mean? So
Right.
and I used to DJ at my parents' house as a kid with her guests around. Because back then, before I started DJing in the basement, they had you ever see one of those turntables that had like the stacks of 45s on it like this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would just drop one.
Yep.
That was the DJ, dog. You would hear James Brown, then you would hear Marvin Gaye, then you would hear Shaka Khan. That's what you would hear. So it was crazy. So then that's when I started learning that I could actually have a good idea of what music is hot, how to select music, how to influence people to dance, X, Y, and Z. I mean, I was really young at the time. I can't remember how old I was. I had to be 15, 16 years old. So, yeah.
During this time, did you have any mentors, or were you pretty much self-taught?
Well, my biggest mentor in my entire life has always been my dad. My dad was always someone who I could always go to. And when I was young, he influenced myself and my friends growing up. My friends who weren't as fortunate as me to have their fathers around for whatever reason. Their fathers weren't there from the beginning, or their fathers passed. And my father was kind of a mentor to all of us as it relates to us and our DJing career. My father, Dr. Dre will tell you this story. This is a hilarious story. My father was actually a genius. He told us when we first started really, really DJing, like we got techniques and we got Newmark mixer and we started building speakers, right? So we would go out to these open venues to DJ, and we would make speakers and stack speakers. Like back in the days where a lot of the groups have big walls of speakers, we had all that, right? So my father came to one of the gigs one time and told us, he said, what you guys should have go-go dances on the stage. He said, you guys should speak to the people and have go-go dances. And me and Dre were looking at each other like, what the hell are you talking about? But come to find out, many years later, Luke did the same thing. Luke did it, and see what happened to him,
Right.
My father was ahead of his time.
Hell yeah.
He was ahead of his time, bro. So it was crazy.